did not have kindergarten, but you say Charity was in preschool, I guess, when she come there. But as you go to the school and you go up the steps, that first room there was grades 1st through 4th. And my teacher was Miss Bess. And then we would have our morning. We started out with some songs, and I wrote some of them down. My son Oscar's looking, I'm not gonna ask you to play. But like, be careful little eyes, what you see, be careful little feet, where you go, be careful little hands. And it says, for the Father up above is looking down below, so be careful little feet, what you do. That was one of the songs we started out with. And always the 23rd Psalm. And then when I was in the 5th grade, we had to learn the 12th chapter of Romans. And I still remember it that day because I got so many spankings for nothing. That in those days they spanked us. And we would be standing in a row and we would start it out. Somebody would start it out. It starts out like, I beseech you therefore, brother, by the mercies of God, that you receive your living sacrifice, wholly acceptable. And then she would point to somebody to go to the 2nd verse or the 3rd verse. And if you wasn't ready, I don't have to tell you what happened. But I still remember it. And then we had to learn poems. We had a lot of, poems, and the teachers would say, we would write, because we had a chalkboard, and you will see the chalkboard when you go there. And everyone bought their lunches, but I live within walking distance, and I have to say that my son Oscar lives on the land right there where my old house used to be, where I was born. And I would generally walk home, but a lot of them, they would bring biscuit, and some would bring cornbread, jelly. We did have peanut butter. And then after lunch, we would go outside and play. We would have jump rope, red rover, duck, duck, goose. Now someone asked me, what is duck, duck, goose? And when I can remember, I think the goose would be in the middle and all of us was ducks. And he would just say, duck, duck, goose, and whoever you pointed to, you was out. And then I talked to one of my real good friends. She lives in Tennessee. And I said, Lorraine, what else did we do? She said, well, we played horseshoes and we had softball. I said, oh yeah, I do remember that. But we did have recess, but we also had chores to do. We would have to sweep the rooms after school, erase the blackboard, and the boys were responsible to go down to the woods in the mornings to get wood to make the fire in the wintertime. And so we had what they call an outhouse, and it was down the hill. The girls were on the right and the boys was on the left, and they would let 2 go at a time. And we had Black History in February, but we had it all during the school year, because we did not have that many books. So it just buzzed me to say that I still remember we said we had to learn the 3 B's of education. And that was Mary McLeod Bethune, Charlotte Hawkins Brown, and Nanny Burroughs. And looking at those now, I think one lived in South Carolina, one lived in North Carolina, and then one lived in Virginia, but they were all, local. And we also learned about, the black men, some like Jackie Robinson and different, whatever, like they would play football or whatever they was playing. We learned about those. Then every spring we would have a program, and that was the highlight of, because we loved to go to, we would dress, our mothers would either make them or someone, and I learned how to do the waltz. We had to learn that. We had to learn how to do the waltz because somebody would always play so we could waltz. And then the year that I graduated, they all of us, they had a program, and we recited a poem, but I couldn't remember that poem we had to recite. But I do remember since our principal was Miss Wilson, and she was a music teacher, she would play all these little songs, and we would have to learn them. But when I was gone for 22 years, that's the reason why if you look in the book or somewhere, I signed my name as Sarah. I was a Rowland, then Weston with my children, and I was a widow at a very young age. And then I married, left for 22 years, but I came back home. And when I came back home, I was hearing about what all was going on with the road, with the school. And I was just so happy every time I would come to Mars Hill, I'd always go out there. And it was just, I'm just so elated. And I was just, I just don't know what to say because I'm just so happy to see what happened. And after reading so much, because I hadn't read that much about Rosenwald and Booker T. Washington, but when I came home and started hearing all this, I said, I have to get involved. And I'm so glad that I got involved. And he knows I'm gonna talk to him. I did graduate from Mars Hill College, and under the what program? Yes, that was a COP program. I graduated under his guidance, and then when I married, I taught school for 32 years. I taught here for 12 years, and then when I moved to Virginia, I did get my master's from George Mason University, so I know you'll be proud of me for that. And then, but I retired. 2005, I retired. 32 years I retired. But just the people, around here and everything that motivated, just motivated us to go on. Because when we started that program, COP program, the reason why they started, because they did not have any blacks really going to Mars Hill. Maybe there was 2 or 3 that had graduated before we did, but I graduated in 1975. But this has just been a journey that I have loved to, and I brought my very good friend. We're in the same sorority together because her grandmother is Miss Viola Barnett, and she's in the book. And when you read it or see it, you can see how she, wrote letters until something was done. But I am so glad to tell everyone that yes, I went to Mars Hill. Now it's at Anderson Rosenwald School. But as I said, when I went to Mars Hill, when I went there, it was either Mars Hill Colored or Negro School, and we didn't mind it. After I graduated from the 8th grade, though, I had to be bused to Stevens Lee High School. Got up early in the mornings, and sometimes if it was snowing or whatever, we would go creeping, but we would get there, and it was a 2-lane road, no 4-lane. And there was buses coming from Marshall, Hot Springs, and then they came from Burnsville, Black Mountain, Swan, and Noah. And at the time, they tore Stevens Lee down, which we called the Castle on the Hill, but they left the gym. And all those kids used to be standing on the rails there. And the little buses, we didn't have the big long buses, we didn't. Some of the buses was little. So they would call us the country bumpkins. Here comes the country bumpkins. So that's what I was pale at, but they call us the country bumpkins coming into school. So Stevens Lee is where I did my high school. So I guess that's about all that I need to say, Willa, that I'm supposed to talk about. Richard?